Welcome to Real Talk, Real Women. My name is Miriam Khalladi, and today we have 2012 Olympic bronze medalist in judo, Marti Malloy, on the show. Welcome, Marti. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk to you.
You're most welcome, and thank you so much for your time.
Of course.
So, how did you get interested in judo?
I started judo when I was about 6 years old because my dad enrolled my two older brothers, and it just looked really fun. You know, you get to play around on the mats with other kids and throw each other around. And they first started, they told me I was too small, so they made me wait. But they only made me wait like a couple months before I just kept begging my mom, and then she's like, "Okay, you can start." And then, I haven't stopped since then.
Amazing. And for those watching who are not too familiar with martial arts, can you explain what judo is all about in your own words?
Yeah, so judo basically, if you translate it directly, it means the gentle way, which can be kind of misleading because when you see it, you see people being thrown around or choked or having their limbs extended. But the real goal of judo is to use your opponent's balance and weight against them. So if you were to push me, instead of just falling back, I would turn and try and throw you in the direction that you pushed me. And to win in judo, you throw your opponent flat on their back, and if you do that, it's kind of like a knockout in boxing. You automatically win the match. You can also win on smaller points, so if I were to throw you over my shoulder and you landed halfway on your back, it would be a half point. And then if you land a little bit on your back, it'd be a quarter point. So in a 5-minute match, all those points add up, and whoever has more at the end wins. You can also end the match immediately by pinning your opponent to the ground, or you can do an armbar, which is just bending at the elbow, and your opponent will tap out, or you can choke them, and then they can tap out, and then you would automatically win.
Wow, thank you so much for explaining.
Of course.
And you claimed your first gold medal when you were only 16 years old. When did you decide to compete, and what was that first win like?
Well, my first major gold medal win was when I was 16, but I've been competing since I was 6 years old. My first tournament, less than a year after I started, I won, and actually, I pretty much won all of my tournaments as a kid growing up until I was a teenager. But my first medal when I was 16 was at the Rendezvous Canada, which at the time was a very, very high profile event. A lot of world and Olympic champions competed there, and I kind of went in as a nobody. No one really knew who I was. I was only 16 years old, and I ended up winning the whole tournament. And a friend of mine actually always makes fun of me because she's like, looks at the podium shot of me at the top at the gold medal, and the silver medal is like a world bronze medalist, and then two Olympians on the other side of me. And I was like this 16-year-old no one had ever heard of, standing on the top. So that felt great. And at that moment for me, it was kind of a realization that, you know, you can do this. You are up here at the top of the tier with all these top players. So, you just got to keep trying, keep working out, keep training, competing, and, here I am today.
Wow, wonderful.
Yeah.
And since then, you've won many contests and brought home bronze during the London 2012 Olympics. What has been the hardest obstacle you've had to overcome this far?
Up until the Olympics, you mean?
Yeah.
I would say competing internationally itself is the hardest obstacle. I'll be the first to say that even though I won an Olympic bronze medal, there are tons of tournaments every year that are very, very high profile and give a person a lot of points, and they're competed at by the best players in the world. And in that sense, I don't really have the best track record. I've won a few World Cups and taken a few medals here and there, but I haven't been one of those people who consistently is at the top of the podium at all these big events. For me, the Olympics was a huge breakthrough to kind of show the world that, I do have some judo that is effective and I can beat these top players, but the whole journey up until the Olympics was really, really tough, just trying to break through into that top podium spot. And I'm still trying to do that now, definitely.
You're now preparing for the Olympics Games in Rio de Janeiro in 2016. It's still 3 years away. How do you stay motivated to continuously perform at your best?
I stay motivated basically by kind of thinking about what I just said about how, like I said, I may be an Olympic bronze medalist, but I haven't consistently won at the top level events over and over. So for me, all those small steps, going to the big events, world championships, world masters, which I'm competing at next weekend, and grand slams, which are some of the highest events for judo, knowing that I need to really, really prove myself and show that I am not just a one-time performance at the Olympics, but that I can consistently do well is what keeps me going. And also, I lost at the Olympics as well in the semifinal in a manner that was pretty devastating. I felt like I was ahead in the match, and then I got caught for a pretty spectacular throw, and it ended the match. And for me, all those losses, you play them over and over in your head, and they motivate you over and over to just like go back to training and try hard and really redeem yourself for your mistakes more than anything.
Great. But I hope you've enjoyed the Olympics.
Of course, yes, yes, they were amazing. It was. I missed the 2008 Olympics kind of by a pretty small margin, but luckily USA Judo, they said, we think you're going to make the next Olympics, and it's such a grand event, and it can be really overwhelming. So they sent me and another handful of young players to go witness it, watch the judo, experience the whole event, and prepare us to be ready to and not be too shocked when we went in London. And I think that was a great idea because I did know what to expect. I did know how to carry myself and focus on just doing judo and not get caught up seeing all the famous people everywhere. But it was fun to be there. It was awe-inspiring seeing all these top-level athletes and a ton of people they're all there for the same reason as you. They all have a dream, they all have goals, and it was super exciting. And of course, when you do well and you can walk around with a medal around your neck, it's just like so satisfying.
Amazing. And what do you feel it's going to take to bring home the gold medal?
It's going to take a lot of competition. Like you mentioned, there's still about 3 years left until the Olympics. But for judo, the qualification process starts 2 years before. So about this time next year in 2014, every tournament and every event you go to is going to give you qualification points for the Olympics if you win. So competing a lot is going to be really, really important, and doing well. You can't just go and fight a match or win a couple matches. You've got to make it to the podium every single time. So that's also going to require a ton of training, a ton of traveling. I mean, the next year for me from this point forward is, I'm gone every single week just training and competing all around the world and just trying to get better so that you can make it to the top of the podium starting next year.
And I'm sure you will do great.
Thank you.
Do you ever doubt yourself, and how do you deal with moments of doubt or fear as an Olympian?
I used to, I've read a lot that the people who go over the things that they don't want to happen and or the things they're afraid of before a fight usually end up making that happen. Like if you think, oh, I don't want to get thrown or I don't want to get choked out, and then you go out into the match, well, that's what you've just been thinking about. So that's what's probably going to happen. But for me, I like to think about all the things that make me nervous before a fight. Usually the night before, I'll spend the whole time thinking about all the losses I've had, and how terrible they felt and what mistakes I made. And for me, that helps me really, really focus and do the opposite. I really told myself that I don't want to feel the way I felt when I lost last time, and so I make a really, really good point of doing the opposite if I can. But I mean, nerves are always there. I think if you're not nervous, then you really, really don't care enough about what you're about to do. But it helps me focus more than anything and try and not make the same mistakes I made in the past.
Right. And I know your dream is for judo to be much more popular in the US, like for example the NBA or NFL. What do you feel needs to happen in order for that dream to come true?
I think that the sport of judo in general in the United States needs to be more mainstream. I mean, a lot of people still view judo as an obscure sport, and it's really a shame because we are probably one of the only countries that judo is just now breaking ground in. If you go to any of the Asian countries, or even where you're from, for example, in France and Germany and Spain, I mean, judo is one of the most popular sports, and their top judo players are hailed as heroes. You have a huge fan base of people who understand and love the sport, and that's exactly what I would love to have for judo. But it's just not well known enough. I don't think enough of what makes judo a great sport is well known either. For example, not just being able to defend yourself and be in great shape, but it makes you into a better person. It makes you confident, it makes you hardworking and disciplined, and definitely a lot more respectful and a lot more integrity. These are the things I think that judo can teach you. But with the recent success of myself and my teammate Kayla Harrison, and obviously Ronda Rousey at the previous Olympics, I mean, we've had 3 Olympic medals in judo for the U.S. the last 2 Olympics. and they were all women. So that's great. I'm hoping that it's going to get the whole nation excited and get them behind us and maybe go, you know what, maybe this is a good sport for my daughter to do or my son. And, you know, the more people who start thinking that way, the more popular it's going to be and the more attention it's going to get in every way. Media, you know, schools. It would be great to have it in schools like it is in other countries. But, I mean, I guess we just have to take baby steps.
What can you tell me about the Malloy Olympic mat?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Have you seen my mat? What do you think?
It's amazing. Really?
What color do you like?
Pink, of course.
Of course. Yeah, so me and one of my longtime sponsors, it's Swain Dollar Martial Arts Mats. They've sponsored me for I don't even know how long, and we decided to come out with, you know, some kind of product that celebrates how I did at the last Olympics, and it's called the Malloy Olympic Home Mat, and it's basically a 5 by 10 feet mat that you can roll out in your home and use for whatever you like. Most people in the martial arts world obviously would do like throwing or jiu-jitsu. You can work groundwork on it, but it's also good for like stretching and, you know, light workouts with weights. And it's awesome because I know a lot of people, and myself included, when I go and do my training, I come home and I've got to like stretch and do all this stuff on the carpet in my house, and it's just gross. So you have this awesome mat. It doesn't take up a lot of space, and the great thing is that we came out with this pink edition that is going to benefit breast cancer research. So they're going to give a portion of the proceeds to breast cancer research, and then another portion is going to go toward me for my 2016 Olympic run. So it's just really, really cool. They've got my name on it and the logo, and we're getting a lot of really great responses to it. And I mean, I'm really excited. I never thought I would have a mat with my name on it and a judo belt, so it's pretty cool.
It's amazing, and that's why I like the pink color, because of the charity. So my next question is about that. A portion of the profits go towards the fight against breast cancer. Why have you chosen this specific charity?
Well, because of obviously, you know, like I mentioned before about the women doing really, really well in the Olympics the last 3 years, we're kind of playing off this whole girl power thing, you know, and there's one cancer that obviously is very specific to just women, and that, you know, it really, really could help it could really, really do a lot of good to help them and also benefit women at the same time. So it just seemed like the best route to go to, you know, support women and support myself in athletics, being a woman as well.
Yeah, and it's a great charity.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Outside of judo, you hold a Bachelor of Science in Advertising, a minor in Psychology, and have recently been accepted into the Master Program of Journalism and Mass Communication at San Jose State University. Where do you envision yourself in, say, 5 years' time?
Ooh, good question. Well, so in 3 years, hopefully, outside judo, I'm hoping to break into the world of broadcast. Like my undergrad was in advertising, but I realized after this last Olympic run that I love talking. I love being on TV and, you know, thinking in the moment. It's kind of like judo, you know, one split-second reaction kind of thing, and it's exciting. And I love to travel. So my big dream would be to be the best broadcaster you've ever seen, whether in news. I would love to be a sports broadcaster announcing something of that matter, but I'm keeping my options open. I really, really love journalism, mass communications department, communications and media, and I'm not going to set anything in stone. We're going to see what comes my way, but I'm excited to go back to school for sure. I start my master's program in the fall at San Jose State, and I'm excited to get some learning in. When you do just judo, you become kind of a robotic like athlete who just does their sport, and I like to get back to thinking a little bit more.
Great, amazing. And what would you say to those youngsters watching who dream to be like you and take part in the Olympics one day?
Well, I can't speak too much for what you need to do as other sports, but I would say that you know, no dream is too big, and I know people say that a lot, but it's an important thing to recognize, because I mean, I've been doing judo for 20 years, and for the longest time I doubted myself. I said, this is really hard, and there's so many people out there who want to do what I want to do, but you know, you have to set a goal for something, and you have to do everything you can to achieve it and never give up, and try not to take failures or disappointments too seriously, because the one thing I've learned over time is that every failure is a lesson, you know, and every time you make a mistake or do something wrong, you have a chance to learn from it, or you have a chance to just stay where you are and not really make any changes. So just kind of think keeping that kind of mentality is the kind of thing that is going to make you succeed in the long run, for sure.
Oh, great advice. And where can people go connect with you online?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook. My name, Marti Malloy, as a U.S. judo athlete, and I'm also on Twitter as Marti Damus. So Marti Martidamus, and also on Instagram as Marti Damus. You can follow me and see what I'm up to every day.
And I will make sure to put all the links below this video.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. Marti, do you feel there's anything we've missed that you would like to cover today?
No, I think you were very thorough. I'm very excited to have talked to someone who did their research and knew everything about me.
Thank you so much, Marti.
No problem.
It was an absolute pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me. It was very nice meeting you, and I'm a big fan. I love what you're doing with women and your website, and keep it up. I'm always going to be following you.
Thank you so much. It really means a lot to me. And thank you so much for watching. My name is Miriam Khalladi, and I will see you on the next episode of Real Talk, Real Women.